Hey guys, I just wanted to share with you a great strategy for improving your forms. It is the isolation method of training. So imagine your form is here, and here you come in with your plucker outers, and you pluck out the thing in that form that requires the most work. And you do massive reps on just that thing. Now this seems kind of obvious, but I would submit that rarely in our training do we actually put that idea to work. I think more often we just kind of do reps on the form, which also obviously is important and good. But if you were to look at that entire form and analyze like all the things in it, it's probably going to be, 80% basics that you do a lot of anyway, just kind of in different combinations. And at some point, you're pretty good at all of those things relatively quickly, even if it's a pretty new form, right? If you're a black belt, if you're somebody who's used to learning forms. But there's always one or two things in a form that are like the signature things that, are a little weird, and you just don't, you haven't done nearly as many reps on those things. Like think in terms of just the numbers. If there's a low block in your form, you've already done, after a few years of training, you're literally thousands and thousands of low blocks. But if there's a new move in there, that's like you're like a white belt all over again at that new thing. And so it doesn't make sense to give those two techniques the same number of reps. And if all you do is reps on the form, then you end up doing that. So I really like the pluck out method, and I would count that. If you had a goal of spend 10 minutes a day on your forms or whatever, I would count that as forms training. I've got a neat little drill where you can. This is just real simple. There's nothing like mind-blowingly creative about this, but where you can identify beforehand, hey, I want to work on this move or that move, and when you get to that move in the form, you just stay there and you kind of forward rewind, and maybe you decide a good ratio is 5 to 1, 10 to 1, that every time you do that form, you're going to do that technique a certain number of times. I want to take you through the three student classroom forms, 1, 2, 3, that we work on in the school, and just give you some suggestions for what these techniques might be. Okay, let's do it. So we're going to back up. Form 1, if we go through and just look at what's in there, you've got the scissor block. Really good candidate right there. Like that involves kind of some strange arm crossing. The hand position at the end is a little tricky to get right. So you might make scissor block kind of your pluck out move. All right, let's keep going. Low guard, high guard. Check block, maybe that's less common. You could, I guess, let's tag that as a possible one. Low punch, no. Guard, no. Guard, no. Check block, we said maybe, and punch. Okay, scissor, we said maybe. So let's just keep track of our yeses and maybes here. Closed guard, no. Closed guard, no. Check spear. Okay, so maybe on that one, right? That's a little different from what we do in basics. I'm gonna come around, middle block, punch, punch, stack up, and side kick, and elbow strike. That elbow strike, there's another one. So now we're on 4, right? We've got scissor, we got check block, add the spear, and the elbow strike. The side kick is the most difficult technique in this form by far. To have a good side kick, as you know, is a real black belt level kind of a challenge. But we do them all the time anyway. So like in basics, that's almost like a separate project. So I wouldn't think of that as the thing to pluck out in the way that I mean in this drill. All right, open guard, middle block, punch, punch, to here, okay, get your elbow into the hand. That's a good one. And then the rest is essentially repeat. So we've got a few candidates in this form, and let's start with the first one. So your scissor block, okay? So I would wrap my right around the neck. I reach down with the left. I would step back left. Now I would just make sure that the middle block follows middle block trajectory and ends on the center, and then the low block follows a low block trajectory and ends over the knee. And those two things happen together with the low block on the inside. Okay, so I rewind, fast forward, rewind, forward, rewind, let's say we did 5, and now I continue through. And I just pick one technique per form. All right, and guess what's coming up again as I go into the middle? I think it's important to put that step timing in there. 4, 5, okay? And then I keep going, and so on throughout the form. So a nice little like 5-to-1 ratio there of scissor block to form. Check block is a good one to look at. No bent wrist on the check block, so it's not this right here. A lot of times people bring this out in front of the body, but then you bring it back by the ribs. Bang. What else do we say? Check spear. All right, so spear, there's not much to that one. It's a low punch. Make sure you're not chopping down. Boom. It's a punch-like movement. So you can do reps on that. And then what's the other one? Elbow strike. Elbow strike. So Grandmaster's been on us about this one, that the emphasis should not be on I'm hitting my elbow. Rather, it should be on throwing the elbow to the hand. Now the hand moves, but emphasize the elbow. And think about, like, if you had somebody's head, you wouldn't be, like if you were strong enough to grab your opponent's head and smash it into your elbow a bunch of times, you probably shouldn't be fighting that person. That's like, you're probably taking their lunch money or something. So that meant to be thrown out into the hand. Okay, so there are your good Form 1 targets for isolating techniques. Form 2, let's go through. So right here in the beginning, this move, man, so much could go wrong on that one. So let's put a little pin in that. We punch under, maybe the punch under, chop back. So we've got 2 maybes just right there in the first bar. Guard. All right, spinning side kick. Right, huge, more than a maybe. All right, so that's 3. We already did check spear in the last form, so we'll skip that. Spinning hammer. There's another one. So now we got 4. We won't count the open hand versions of these. I'm thinking my way through this here. Let's see, spin side, no, check spear, elbow, that's pretty easy. Round kicks, a basic move, spin chop, punch, backhand slap, crush, side kick. One thing I think in this form that you do want to look at is that twisting elbow. All right, so right in the beginning we had a couple, those 2. Then your spin kick for sure, your spinning hammer for sure. I think your spinning side chop, there's a lot of spinning in that form. And then the twist on the elbow into the side kick is kind of a unique challenge, so that might be a good choice. You've got this weird turn here, that's a good choice. You've got the floating block, that's a nice one to work. Spin, slap. I mean, what do we got? 7 or 8 things already on that one. Don't feel like you got to do them all at once, right? You pick one thing, and you say, hey, I'm going to go through the form, but when I get to that move, we do it 5 times every time it comes up, all right? All right. I did a spin side kick video the other day, just trying to troubleshoot and anticipate kind of the way that everybody messes that up, so you can check that out. Let's look real quickly at Form 3 and where we might find some good pluck out candidates. So you got double block, front kick, double middle block. That might be a good one to look at, just to make sure you have the cross right, that you're not reaching out in the beginning, right? You're staying within the framework of your body. That would be a good video, by the way, just that one topic, staying within the framework of your body, not reaching out to throw a technique, but always being cut. All right, so you got kick, throwing this cross block up from the belt with that back arm on top. That's a real good one. Elbows bent, looking through this window here, leaving enough space between the hands to catch something. If my hands are like this, I can't catch anything, so I want to be here. Okay, side kick, outside block, punch, high block, all of this stuff. This is just a giant combination of basics. So we're pretty solid there on the second bar, as long as you have it memorized and you have good basics. But here comes that cross block again off the hip, high. Here's a weird one, rolling chuck block out, punch, spinning front up stretch, obviously that's a big one. Inside crescent is new for some of you. This double block here. So you got 5 or 6 candidates in that form. This will help you generate, I think, some really good questions too as you pluck these out and really ask yourself, hey, how do I cross my arms on that one? How do I, how do I really do this the right way? So add that into your forms practice.